Hey guys, I am here with the Lucid Air Touring. Let's get into it. So, as we were driving this car, my daughter said to me, "Mom, this is the smoothest car we've ever test driven." And I said, "You're right, Freya. They don't call it the Air for nothing. Let me show you why." So the Air Touring goes from 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds. But in terms of the drive, that 0 to 60 time is the least of the fun. The real fun is how beautifully the suspension works in this vehicle. But of course, going fast is no joke either. It has a range of 425 miles with these beautiful 19-inch wheels. Where the Lucid really excels is in the handling and the suspension. Like I said before, they don't call it the Air for nothing. It is so smooth, and even when you get at pretty high speeds, this thing handles amazingly well, and it's just plain fun to drive. Got these different drive modes, Swift and Sprint, which changes everything. Indeed, as it says here, Sprint mode, it's got maximum power and torque. I have had a lot of fun in Sprint activation, I'm not gonna lie. Also in here is where you control your heating, also the heated seats, heated steering wheel, cooling seats, all of that is controlled in this screen, which is nice. But the other thing that's great about this is like you can control the fans this way, but then you can also control them here, which I think is a lot easier and more intuitive. And if you have junk on your fingers, it's just kind of nice, because I find this a little hard to do sometimes, or just kind of annoying, where this is very easy. And particularly the volume button, right? It means that your passenger can reach over and turn down the volume, or turn up the volume, which isn't always ideal, but that is quite handy, as well as their temperature over here. So in addition to the beautiful drive, one of the things I really like about this vehicle is the interior. Once I got in for the first time, it reminded me of something, and I realized it was Volvo. And that's a compliment for me, because I think they have some of the best interiors in the business. And what Lucid has done, which Volvo has done as well as an EV company, is to ensure that they have a nice balance of buttons as well as screens. Because a lot of companies, it's a big complaint with Tesla, just has one big iPad in the center, and that's all you have, and you don't have enough buttons, and it irritates people. There aren't a lot of redundancies here between the buttons here and the buttons here, and once you start going, it's easy to get used to. So I would even say that for an older person looking for a luxurious EV, the Lucid is actually a good choice, because it is quite intuitive, very user-friendly, and the support team at Lucid is actually fantastic. That's not to say the Lucid doesn't have party tricks. Let me show you one of my favorites. So let's say somebody comes into your car, she's got a big old purse, and she's like, "Oh, I don't want to put it by my feet." You're like, "Really? Would you like to put it in my center console?" "Oh, I don't know," because now you can. So I think that's cool how this little tablet goes away and comes back. I think that's fantastic. There's also the auto park feature, which I'll show you in a minute. As I said, this is the Touring, so it's got this big glass roof, which has its pros and its cons. It's making this interior really large and spacious and beautiful. I notice it's a little hotter than I would like because it's not heavily tinted. Also, like Tesla, it's got these little baby visors with a little baby mirror, and I just think that's annoying because I'm in Southern California. We have a lot of sunshine, and although I wear my sunglasses, I could use a bigger visor, but that's just me. The cameras in the Lucid Air are exceptional, and how they show a unit of measurement as you're parking is really, really nice in my opinion. I love to see all of the different views that it's got going on. I know, look at that. That's crazy. You can look at me from all different angles here. The scale might be a little off here, but this is really interesting to be able to look at the vehicle from all these different viewpoints are fantastic. Okay guys, so in addition to the autopilot, this thing has a self-parking function. And normally I'm really nervous about self-parking because I'm kind of a control freak. But my daughter was like, oh, come on, Mom, just let it park itself. And I was like, oh, fine. So, because I did have a very bad experience with one car that was a pre-production model, and I thought I was gonna die while it was parking itself. But in this case, this is not a pre-production model, and it's Lucid, and everything else has been so extraordinary that I feel kind of confident in it. So let's give it a try, okay? So I'm gonna put it in regular drive mode. I have my indicator on. Now, you go to the parking thing and you go to self-park or auto park, and it's gonna search for parking spaces. All right, it's searching, it's searching, it's searching. Drive forward slowly. I've just passed a bunch of parking spots. I don't know why it doesn't like these. Here we go. Stop to select a space. Yeah, I want this one. Release brake and steering wheel. I don't know if it's gonna parallel park it or what, but I guess I'll give it a try. Here it goes. It's going into the spot really well. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Look at you. I hope you guys see, I do not have my hands on the steering wheel. I do not have my feet on the brake or the acceleration. I'm breathing deeply because I really don't want to hit this car next to us or the cement wall behind us. And there it is. Hooray! Woo! The majority of the surfaces and touch points in the Lucid Air are very, very luxurious. They have been very conscious of the fact that they are dealing with a high-end customer. Everything from the font on the displays to the noises that the vehicle makes, everything is very sophisticated and refined, which is rare these days in an auto manufacturer, but somewhat necessary at this price point. Who are we kidding? So we've got a nice trunk. And of course, a nice frunk. Both of which are controlled with the touch of a button to open and to close, which is pretty sweet. Especially when somebody else gets to empty the groceries out of the trunk of your car. I like it. majority of the functions are done via the touch pads, whether they're the functional stuff over here, which are your windshield wipers, your lights, stuff like that. And then your entertainment is over here. So you've got, you know, navigation, phone, and music. Well, the other way around, but you know what I'm saying. And then in here is all of the car stuff. So one of the things that automotive journalists are all whining about these days is this. Oof, the only way you can open the glove box is with this stupid touchpad, which is really annoying. And the most disappointing part about this, to be honest, given the elevated nature of everything else in this car, is you have to touch it to close it, and it feels cheap. It's the only thing in this car that feels cheap. I'm not joking with you guys. It's like everything else you touch feels like luxury, feels like quality, like the steering wheel is like, oh yeah, this is beautifully manufactured. And then you touch that glove box and you're like, you cheaped out on that. And I'm not gonna lie, it's disappointing. The back seat in the Lucid Air is incredibly spacious. In fact, unlike many sedans, you can put 3 full-size adults in this vehicle and be really comfortable. And again, in the touring trim, which is one step up from the entry level, it does have this glass panoramic roof, which just makes it all feel enormous back here. But it's really, really comfortable. You've got a little pocket here. Obviously, this center thing comes down, so they've got a place for their arm. Like, it's the kind of car that if you were to put a client in the back seat, they may even be complimented, right? It would almost feel like they were in a limousine because it is so spacious back here. The one complaint that some people have had, I don't necessarily have it because I'm not very tall, is that the door opening isn't very comfortable. So you do, like, you wouldn't want to put a guy back here or a woman who was like 6'5", because getting out of the door, or like someone who is, you know, really large, because it's not that much fun to get out of the back seat. So keep that in mind. There you have it, the Lucid Air Touring, a worthy competitor to the Tesla Model S. I'm Motorhead Mama. Thanks so much, and please subscribe.